were given the opportunity recently to speak to the producer of the forthcoming Lara Croft game, we jumped on it. In fact, we jumped on him and ordered him to tell us everything.
Look out! It's Lara! I know!
Well, the beginning of the story finds Lara in the Mediterranean Sea, where she knows that there are ruins to be found on the sea floor, but the player has to go find what they are.
Hey, Lara. Find it yet?
Patience, Zip. I warned you that conveniently undiscovered islands would be scarce in the Mediterranean. I'll ring you later.
What she finds is Niflheim, which is one of the Norse underworlds.
Incredible. The carvings are clearly similar to early Germanic design, but this is far older than the 5th century, yet, strangely enough, more sophisticated.
What she discovers is that the Norse actually base a lot of their myths and a lot of their stories on a very ancient culture that predates them and predates modern civilization in every respect. And it turns out that this civilization spans the globe. So she goes all around the world on the trail of Thor's hammer, and what she finds is that later cultures have kind of paved over these more ancient ruins, and that's what the theme of Underworld is. She finds that these ancient spaces are guarded by these ancient guardians that have led to myths of underworld locations.
Oh, that's lovely.
Very early on in pre-production, we came up with this philosophy that we call "What could Lara do?" And the idea was, what would you as a player expect Lara to be able to do given her strength, her fearlessness, her reason for living?
And this has led to a brand new Lara featuring a host of new moves. We don't have footage to show all of them, but we did get our chap to tell us about them. Take it away.
She can balance walk on beams. That's an actual analog mechanic. She can climb up on top of poles and jump off them. She can free climb on walls where there are handholds. She can shimmy along very thin ledges. When it comes to combat, she can split up her guns and shoot at multiple targets at the same time. She can generate adrenaline through attacking enemies that she could use to do these adrenaline headshot moves. She now has new gear items that she has at her disposal. A sonar map. She has new capabilities to her grapple gun. She now has a tranquilizer gun for people that want to put animals to sleep rather than killing them all. So by coming up with all of these new abilities, we not only deliver on the expectations of what you would expect Lara to be able to do, but we made the game more intuitive so that people didn't have to memorize a lot of arbitrary game rules about what you could and could not do and where you could do it, where you couldn't do it.
Also new are massive levels. This time, if you play the game just straight through, you'll only see about 50% of it. So, more replay value then.
There's plenty of vistas and collectible rewards and whatnot to go back and find, and various achievements that give people plenty to do if they want to come back into the spaces and explore them later.
But what there isn't is multiplayer. Not yet, anyway.
The main reason that we didn't go that route for Underworld was because, in addition to Lara really being a solo operator, especially with the adventure that we designed here, we really wanted to concentrate on bringing her onto current-gen platforms in all of the vivid beauty that we possibly could. Down the road, yes, we're definitely taking multiplayer and various scenarios there very seriously, and who knows?
We'll have a full half-hour special on Tomb Raider Underworld very soon.
I'm back. I'm stronger than ever, but I'm going to need to be.
Hello, my name's Toby Gard, and welcome to the Playr Tomb Raider Underworld special.
Thanks, Toby. Yes, we felt it only right to give Lara's latest our full attention. We visit developers Crystal Dynamics to find out exactly what they've done to gaming's greatest heroine and how they did it. The Olympic gymnasts who help bring Lara to life attempt to woo me, as does the real Lara Croft.
Hello. Welcome to Croft Manor.
Oh, and we answer the question, what does death sound like? That's all in our Tomb Raider Underworld special.
The basis for the story was, from the beginning, was to explore some of the Norse mythology, and obviously we worked out what we could do in terms of what kind of artifact to go after and what kind of pieces from the myths that we could pick on in order to create the story. But also it was important for us to build in some of the motivations that Lara has, some of the reasons why she goes on these adventures, and try and tie up some of the story pieces that explain her past.
All right, maybe Avalon is real, but just because some bad woman tells you your mother didn't die after all. I mean, look, I don't want to seem heartless, but this idea of your mom living in some Celtic underworld, it's a little bit mental, isn't it?
I have no illusions that my mother is holding court in some mythical paradise, Alistair. I only want the truth, whatever it may be.
The game starts out with Lara's mansion burning, and that is kind of what draws you in, trying to find out why the mansion is on fire.
And then it cuts to previously, about a week before, and then she's in the Mediterranean on just one of her normal expeditions, and she swims down. So you're scuba diving, you're doing underwater puzzles. She fights an incredible monster down there.
I hope it's as blind as it looks.
What she finds is Niflheim, which is one of the Norse underworlds.
Thor, the Norse god of thunder. Whatever are you doing down here in Niflheim?
And she discovers that there's a lot of truth behind the myth of Norse belief in the gods of Thor and Odin, and it sets her on a quest to go find Thor's hammer and all of the other artifacts associated with it.
It is the hero's journey, the classic legendary journey into the land of the dead to try and find your loved ones.
Very early on in pre-production, we came up with this philosophy that we call "What could Lara do?" And the idea was, what would you as a player expect Lara to be able to do given her strength, her fearlessness, her reason for living? And by using that guiding star, That gave us the ability to figure out what new moves to give her. We would be able to balance walk on a beam. I can balance walk on a beam, and you'd think that Lara could do that.
Yeah, defo. Anyways, this philosophy led the team to come up with a host of new moves for Lara.
She can climb up on top of poles and jump off them. She can free climb on walls with her handholds. She can shimmy along very thin ledges. When it comes to combat, she can split up her guns and shoot at multiple targets at the same time. She can generate adrenaline through attacking enemies that she could use to do these adrenaline headshot moves. She also has new weapons. In addition to her usual suite, she now has a tranquilizer gun for people that want to put animals to sleep rather than killing them all. She now has new gear items that she has at her disposal. She's got a sonar map. She has new capabilities to her grapple gun. So by coming up with all of these new abilities, we not only deliver on the expectations of what you would expect Lara to be able to do, but we made the game more intuitive so that people didn't have to memorize a lot of arbitrary game rules about what you could and could not do, where you could do it, where you couldn't do it.
But what isn't new is the fact that you'll be doing some good old block shifting to solve puzzles. Well, it wouldn't be Tomb Raider without it. And as ever, you'll be spending a lot of time trying to figure out just what it is Lara's on about.
Incredible. The carvings are clearly similar to early Germanic design, but this is far older than the 5th century, yet, strangely enough, more sophisticated.
That's funny, I was thinking that just the other day.
Early Germanic design, but this is
To
far
create the animation for the cutscenes, the team rounded up a host of actors and stunt performers and headed to their local motion capture studio. In the director's chair was Lara's original creator, Toby Gard.
Let's see.
Action.
Rumour has it that to prepare for this super expensive shoot, Toby roped in anybody and everybody from the team to act out the scenes beforehand in the Crystal Dynamics store cupboard. Crystal Dynamics store cupboard.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I don't tend to act out the scenes because I'm behind the camera, but the the animators do act it out. Yeah. And explosion. Yeah. Cool. And then that'll be it. Yeah. It depends who plays Lara on who is currently available during our little half-acting sessions, but it could be anyone. Blokes? Yeah, blokes too. Not obviously when we do the actual motion capture for the game, but when we're just trying to work out how the scene should play out, then yeah, we all muck in, and sometimes it could be anyone.
Toby's usual role is as an artist and story consultant. So, how was it putting down the pen and taking up the director's megaphone?
It's definitely a new experience being in a mocap studio and saying action and cut and all that kind of stuff. And it's a wrap. I was saying it's a wrap to people when I shouldn't be, because it means everyone can go home, right? And I'd say that a scene would look like it was good, and I'd go, it's a wrap, and everyone would go, what, really? And no, not really, no. I was confused, but there you go.
We knew we wanted a foundation of believability, of photorealism, and that involved going on location and doing some shooting.
Yes, it's a tough life for your environment designer, going to some of the world's most exotic locations, including Mexico's Mayan ruins, shooting reference photos to be used by the game's artists.
We really like these column structures, and we use them in the game. So you can climb and jump over structures like this. It's a good reference for my artists to use, just simple layouts that the Mayans would use. It just provided great ledges for Laura to jump and grab to. The mines very frequently use these cylindrical columns in their architecture as decoration. And we included that in our levels as well. We used this style archway whenever an arch was represented in Tomb Raider Underworld.
Yeah, for the sound of ripping flesh and breaking bones, I use cracking walnuts, ripping celery, slushing melons, and cabbage being torn in half. The sound is actually made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, about almost 20 layers. Each of them contributes to the whole. Here's an individual sound. Just that. A little pop. Here's something a little beefier. This is a cracking coconut. Coconut shell being smashed with a wrench, actually. Now you're going to hear the sound of a lot of those different elements I played you mixed together. That sound I use often when Laura is what we call ragdolling, where she's bouncing off jagged cliff, you know, at the bottom of a jagged cliff. When she falls and dies.
Well, that's one way to end a feature. Join us after the break when the real Lara Croft reveals her jewels to me. Back to our Tomb Raider Underworld special. Still to come, old bones. Alison Carroll is the new face of Lara Croft. She demanded dinner with me. I begrudgingly accepted.
Hello, welcome to Croft Manor. When my brothers found out that I'd got the job as Lara Croft, they've gone crazy. So excited about the prospect of it. My the middle brother, he's like, oh, can we go out in case people recognise you? It's very funny.
Anyway, Alison Carroll is the girl next door who's now Lara Croft. And ever since she was unveiled, she's been subjected to millions of questions from geek boys wanting to probe the inner Lara.
Oh goodness, how many interviews have I done? So many. I can't even put a number to it.
Well, she wasn't employed to count. Yes, being a trained gymnast, some would say she's perfectly equipped to be Lara Croft, but not Alison. In fact, she's taken an intensive course in AAA hard.
I'm also going to be doing SAS training, a course in firearms and a crash course in archaeology. So hopefully I'll have all of the skills put together to bring Lara to life.
Alison's first photos as Lara certainly brought her to life in more detail than expected. But for those still wondering how she got the job, well, we can reveal she has the #1 must-have quality, an enormous desire to travel the world as Lara.
My diary is just jam-packed, you know. I'm going to Australia this week, then to Singapore, Dubai, South Africa. I'm then off to Brussels and Amsterdam, Italy, America. So I'm pretty much globe-trotting, just like Lara.
Anyone else gone off, huh? Now then, our tryst was rudely interrupted by a photographer.
It went well. She's really good. You know, I shot her before and she knows what to do. 3, 2, chin round to me. That's it there. Down in a bit. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Chin there. She gets into character really well. Good. There. There. Good girl. Hold on. Eyes to me. I was getting it, so as we went around, I managed to hide the chimney pots and the bits behind with a bit of column, as you do.
Just takes it works.
Alison wanted to continue our intimate tryst, but she was pulled away again, this time to take part in an archery competition with journalists.
Oh, completely missed. Yeah, but it does to me. I want to get it right.
It was at this point we glimpsed the steely determination that's at the heart of Alison Carroll. She was determined to fight back. Would she?
Bullseye! Got 2 in the bullseye. And who else did? No one.
I've gone off her. She had one more chance to redeem herself. She promised to do an intimate stage show just for me and 200 other journalists. Take it away, Alison. I'm waiting. While we were at Crystal Dynamics headquarters, we were accosted by some of the more media-hungry members of the Crystal Dynamic design team, who said, "Film us now, or else."
I'm Cam Yu, lead character artist, and I'm about to show you some of Lara's costumes and model of the Thrall. This is Lara's standard outfit for Tomb Raider Underworld. She looks good from this distance, but however, if you move in and you take a look at the detail on her, you'll still see the detail. There's no loss of detail there.
Yep, no loss of detail there.
This is for colder weather, obviously. She's got the fur collar and the fur cuffs.
Yeah, very important that, collar and cuffs matching.
And this one is Lara's wetsuit. We had to put extra accessories on her for this outfit, like the goggles and the breathing apparatus.
4 times as many polygons as the last Lara model. They even modelled the inside of her mouth. But the most important part of the model? The eyes.
If you take a close look at her eyes, you'll actually see that the specular highlight rolls over top the iris. The iris is actually concave slightly. It gives her that extra dimension in her eyes. So we were very particular about how much detail we put into her. This is probably the most detailed model we've ever created for a video game.
Hi, I'm Primo Navidad, lead animator for Tomb Raider Underworld, and I'm about to show you how we use motion capture to bring Lara Croft to life.
Yes, though motion capture may be older than Madonna, amazingly this is the first game in the series where the team resorted to motion capture to bring Lara to life. In fact, over 2,000 motions were captured.
So this is a new feature that she can do in the game, which is the whole balance beam mechanic. So this is what we get directly from the studio. And we also have the actor do it a couple different times just to make sure we get what we want. I took that long file and cut it down to a loop. What makes it so powerful is that I can easily manipulate each file to make it suit our needs better. After we complete this stage, we then export it out into our game environment where we could test it in-game. So here is what the balance beam looks like. And because of test level, you can see that it can be a little bit buggy. And if it looks good in here, then we know we finished our job. When we motion captured for Lara Croft, we scoured everywhere for talent, and we couldn't find one person to fill the shoes. We actually used at least 3 Olympic caliber gymnasts. Each brought a different side of Lara that we needed. One was a better actress than the other 2 as far as body language. The other one was very good at gun posing, and we had one who was just an incredible gymnast, so we used her for a lot of the stunt stuff. For this one, we actually had the actor like 10 feet in the air with a harness standing on top of a bar. That was with no harness. We had a 5-foot high box with a little bit of a trampoline in front of him, and we just told him to try to get over it as quick or as stylish as you can. So when I said action, I kind of embrace it a bit, and the actors appreciate it, so I would be, and action.
And poser. No, Primo really did have an important role to perform on the set.
One habit that I needed to break them of is after they would do a really awesome Lara Crew flip move, at the end they really want to do their and done, which I don't know, maybe they're waiting for a score or something, but we broke them of that habit after 2 days of rehearsals.
And thus ended the career of some of America's brightest young gymnastic talent. That's almost it for our Tomb Raider special. Before we go though, over to Ollie for a quick walkthrough.
Lara's arrived at coastal Thailand on the trail of some ancient Norse ruins. What they're doing in Thailand is a bit of a mystery, but before she can investigate, she's got to get up there, and that's going to require a bit of free climbing, one of her new skills you can see her doing now. She can hop onto this ledge, and she can do a shimmy walk, which is another new skill. Just edges along like that and can jump off. Head on up the steps. This bit looks dangerous. She can't stand on that, so she slides down. And from this ledge we can jump up and grab the pole. Another of her new skills is she can stand on poles and balance. Now we've reached a big gate which we're going to have to climb over, so we'll do a chimney jump up here. That's another new skill. Jump across to that ledge, jump back across, now shimmy across the top here. The camera pulls back to show the scale of the structure. It's pretty big. Fall from here won't kill her, but it will hurt. Edging round to the front, we can jump up again, leap across that bit, continue to edge our way over to the left before we can jump up and climb over to the right. At the top here we'll see a beautiful Thai temple.
We'll actually review this game next week, but for now, we're out of time. Ta-da!